June is crazy. It has passed December in my mind. It's the craziest time of year. Kirby Smart talking about this month and what it's like in the calendar, and I want to describe some of this to you so that you see what's going on in these programs right now, because the calendar has shifted in a major way, and Kirby and company have had to adjust as well. You've got the portal to deal with, you've got NIL stuff, you've got team activity, you've got conditioning and weights right now, and all that stuff. But right now, you're talking about camp season, okay? So everybody's not just having big recruiting weekends, they're also having camp weekends. So you can get guys to come in on a Wednesday or a Thursday just to be by, the head coach talks to the star player, or, maybe everybody wants to come in on for the scavenger hunt weekend, or, at Georgia in particular, scavenger hunt, or you've got, whatever you want to call it that, these weekends in June have replaced what were huge weekends in December and January years gone by, because of the way the calendar works now in college football. June has become an overwhelmingly important month for recruiting specifically, and we've seen that at Georgia. I mean, they've got this month. It would not be abnormal for them. Well, they're going to have at least 70 big deal recruits on campus this month. And you've already seen, how that's affected things already. I mean, you've had massive, two, I would say, massive commitments, one from another Lucky, that sounds, from a prospect with the last name Lucky. You have Justice Fitzpatrick picking Georgia in June. It has become what January used to be. It's just that it's in June, and because of the recruiting cycle ending in December now, for all intents and purposes, that means there's no real time to go on officials. I mean, you can do it in the fall. Everybody has kind of gotten away from that, though. I mean, it seems like once you get to the fall, then the Elijah Griffins of the world and the Isaiah Gibsons, they're kind of already, they're already kind of committed or figuring out where they're going to go. Very fewer and fewer guys are picking in December. Make sure you're taking advantage of our buy 1 month, get 3. And that comes with our 2025 preview. That link is down below. YouTube, take advantage while you can. 3 months for the price of 1, and the magazine included, all for the price of the magazine itself. Great deal. Take advantage, y'all. When recruiting, when the NCAA and the schools added the December time for recruiting, that was not a big deal until the portal became a thing. What I lose empathy for over time is the schools or the coaches complaining about the situation that they're in terms of the calendar. The schools are the NCAA. They're living by their own rules. They're choosing this. They have chosen it. It's their decision. And they're not making great decisions in the grand scheme of things. They are handcuffing themselves in one instance. They are making things way more muddled than they need to be. And I think if you, in a month's period of time, if you have the capability of having signing day in December, it doesn't have to be, a few days before Christmas, but let's just say it's sometime in December, maybe a couple of days after championship. If signing day were the Wednesday after the so-called championship weekends, I think that would help a lot, to be honest with you. But let's just say you have in December, and then you have the portal in, closed by like MLK in January. Then you would have 1 month of sort of transfer season where guys are coming in, guys are leaving, and you really know for that next 12 months what your team is doing. What Kirby and company what are frustrated by, among other things, is double portal. Recruiting calendar has shifted, and now June has become so important because of the December early signing period that the things you used to be able to focus on in June, which was getting younger recruits to campus, showing them, introducing them to not just your staff, but your institution. I mean, like, if you're recruiting someone from Maryland, they're not going to really know a lot about Georgia. I mean, you think someone from Baltimore, they're not going to know, they've probably never been to Sanford Stadium. They probably never did, have never been to Clemson or Tennessee. It's too far away, Maryland, or parts of New Jersey or wherever, That was the time that you could introduce guys, form relationships, not just with the players, but their friends, their family, and all of these things. You form a bond, and it makes your decision to pick a place easier. Now, what's going on is you can still do that, but you're trying to do that in addition to the camps that you always have had, which are in many ways an important part of, this sounds strange, but community outreach, guys who come to camp that will never play at the school. And then you've got official visits. I mean, legitimate official visits that are on campus. These are all things that are happening in June. Oh, and the season is basically 45 days away. Right now, it's about, you're looking at 45-ish days before August right now. I mean, we're not that far away from the start of the season. So if there are lingering injuries, do guys need to sort of get right before the season? If there are dietary or weight issues, if there's lifting that you really want to concentrate on, if there's fundamentals that you can do this time of year, if there's, you can get out there and do skelly. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do this time of year that it's just gotten overwhelming. And, the 4th of July is pretty much the last time that collegiate football players and staff shut it down until, right after the season concludes, that early February moment, that's a shutdown time. But outside of that, the 4th and like Christmas, there's not a lot of off days. And June was at a time a more leisurely month than it is. And it's just, I know that there is probably a clock going off in all these head coaches' minds. I think the natural time for it was the 4th. I mean, with the 4th of July, you had a sort of just, the ships were leaving and they weren't coming back. Now it seems like it's almost Memorial Day. I mean, and, are you where you need to be in terms of getting everybody into your program, in terms of just all of those things? It's made June far more chaotic than it once was. I don't know if that's good or bad for college football, but one thing he said, talking about like practices in the late spring and summer, mini camps, OTAs, what's called organization. OTAs are an NFL time where teams get all of their roster together. They're mandatory. There's this discussion of that happening right now. And here's his reaction to that. He said, I think that's asking too much to do in June. He says, to be honest with you, our players need time to work out in strength and conditioning and not necessarily be with the coaches. The NFL, this is going to sound strange, the NFL doesn't go as hard as college football does in many aspects. I mean, there are restrictions that are put in place. The NCAA has bylaws too, don't get me wrong. But, like, in the NFL, when your season's over, like, the players come back for voluntary workouts and OTAs and stuff like that, organized team activities. But, until late July, guys can kind of, like, if you miss an OTA, you can get fined. I mean, like, they're not going to cut you. Well, they could in some cases, but it's in college. It's like, all right, we're going to do strength now, and we're going to do this. We've got strength. When you're a professional athlete, you're required to do that. That's something you need to do by yourself. it's tough out there, man. I mean, it's a hard situation for these coaches because the calendar has changed, and it's changed really since just before COVID. I mean, the Kobe Dean's class, whichever one that was the last class where we had, that was a December signing period, but that was the last time that signing day felt like a big deal. It doesn't feel like a big deal anymore, and all the calendar that I just laid out, that's the reason why. Thanks for watching.